they send their support and love and offer every assistance also. I will remain here to answer some questions, but I would now like to hand over to Mr. Wayne Gatt, who is the head of the Police Association. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, Chief Commissioner. I'd like to thank the Chief Commissioner for his leadership and his support. Our immediate thoughts are obviously with the loved ones and the families of our fallen officers who were murdered today. Police stations have fallen silent in Victoria. When we were first notified, there's a shocking and eerie feeling of dread and indeed a sense of not knowing what to do, and that's something that's being echoed in every police station across this state right now. Indeed, as we're having this press conference here today, thousands of police at home, in police stations, in mess rooms, in muster rooms will be watching this. And I want to say to those people, there are members of the police force, family here, members of the Police Association standing with your colleagues, supporting those colleagues. It's important for you to understand if you're out in the field, and I do want to acknowledge that we still have hundreds of our members putting themselves in danger right as we speak in an attempt to conclude this situation. Our members today paid the ultimate price for protecting the community. It's the price that is often in the back of our minds, something we try to keep there as much as we can. Sadly, on days like this, it comes to the surface, it comes out. In fact, it's too clear. Police officers today across the state will go home. They'll crash at that point. At the moment, they're busy doing their job, trying to keep things going and trying to resolve this situation. But when they're in the quiet and silence of their homes, they will crash. They will have to deal with the loss of their colleagues, and they'll hug their loved ones a little tighter, something, sadly, 2 of our members tonight will have missed the opportunity to do forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Nicely said. I'm happy to take questions, but you will, of course, understand this is an ongoing situation. So some things we have to keep to ourselves while we're in pursuit of this person.
Chief, at this stage, what can you tell us about the suspect, about the man on the motor?
There is some things in the public domain. We know that the person is heavily armed. We know that they are dangerous, obviously, down to what they've done here this morning. I'm not going to go to any other further details until that person is apprehended.
Well, can you tell us about how this unfolded this afternoon or later this morning?
What unfolded today was that 10 very dedicated police officers went to execute a search warrant at that address, and we are still debriefing the other officers that were involved, the 7 officers that are physically okay, but not very traumatised, obviously. They were met by the offender, and they were murdered in cold blood.
How was he able to get away? There were 10 cops.
He was heavily armed, and he was able to escape into the bush. I do understand that he was pursued, but he was able to get away.
At that point, did he take...
On foot.
At that point, did he take people with him? We reported a woman and at least 1 child.
He was on his own, according to our police witnesses that saw him head into the bush. We are still looking to locate his partner and 2 children, but he was not seen to head into the bush with them. We're still debriefing our police officers that were at the scene to understand where his wife and 2 kids were.
What was the nature of the raid earlier this
I'm not going to disclose that at this point. I'm sure it will come out at some point, but I'm not going to discuss it at this point.
Can you describe the terrain where he is at the moment? Well, what is it like?
It's semi-rural. Yeah.
Is it rugged?
It can be. It depends how far he has got, but we've got every resource on the ground and in the air looking for him at the moment.
How large is the area where you are looking for him?
It's large. We've got a cordon around the area. I can't give you the meterage or the acreage, but it's a large area that we've got cordoned off.
Was an assessment made about involving a special operations group in executing the search warrant, and was any thought given to arresting him in a public place?
I can tell you that there was a risk assessment done prior to the search warrant, but I can't go into any further details. It's very standard to do that.
What is the level of threat to the public at the moment?
The public should remain inside. He is obviously a very dangerous person, and he needs to be caught. And that's why we've committed every resource to do that.
Is his partner being treated as a hostage, or is she being thought of as an accomplice of some sort?
I mentioned a minute ago that he was seen going into the bush alone. We don't know exactly where his wife is at the moment, or the children, and we have no information to suggest whether he is with or without them.
Do we know
Were
who's...
they there at the did the
We're
police
still
officers
learning about that. That's a good question, the same question I've asked, and we're yet to establish that fact.
Are there multiple families and groups living out in that area?
My belief is that it's their residence. It's semi-rural.
Are they Wangaratta officers that are involved?
I'm not going to go into which officers at this stage. We will, obviously, when all next of kin are informed, be able to tell you who those officers are that have passed.
There were reports that this bloke's picked up the firearms of the two deceased officers and taken off with them. Is that any truth to that?
We're still examining the scene at the moment. If that is so, then that adds to the severity, obviously, but he already has lethal weapons.
He was obviously known to police before this.
Yes.
How long did this incident occur at the property? How long did it go for?
It happened over minutes, but the officers that were involved, the 7 that were uninjured, remained there for hours while we locked down the area and made it secure. So you have to be very careful when you have an offender at large that we know to be armed.
Did police discharge their weapons in this?
We're still looking into that matter. I won't say whether they did or didn't
And did they have
at this point, but I'm sure we'll be able to share those details at some point.
Is the indication that 10 officers attended, is that the fact that 10 officers attended, is that indication that that risk assessment that was undertaken came back saying there was a pretty strong risk here?
The person is known to us. There was a risk assessment done, and the fact that there were 10 officers attending the search warrant does talk to the gravity of the situation.
Has there been any
Does that mean that
communication with
there's been
him?
previous concerns about weapons on the property?
At some point we will talk to the full detail of this. At the moment our priority is to locate the suspect.
Has there been any communication with him since he engaged with officers this morning?
Not to my knowledge.
And was there a conversation before the guns were fired?
I can't answer that question at the moment because I don't know that detail.
Do you know how many firearms he has at present?
Several, at least.
Do we know what kind of firearms?
We do, yes, and obviously lethal, but I'm not going to go into that model.
Was he expecting police to be there today?
I couldn't answer that question. We don't ring ahead, so we wouldn't have given him any notice that we were coming to execute a search warrant.
But does it appear that he was prepared for this type of scenario?
That will form part of the investigation.
Just,
So it would be wrong for me to speculate on that at the moment.
just following on from that, are you able to say even generally if any of these sort of processes have changed since the fatal police shooting in Wangaratta?
I can tell you that we do robust risk assessments around these jobs. Our staff were armed when they went to the address, obviously.
Has anything changed since what happened in Queensland?
I can't personally comment on that, although I have spoken to the Acting Commissioner from Queensland, and she rang to support our people, but also to say that the people involved in that shooting are again traumatised by this event.
What does tonight look like in terms of the search?
It looks like a full deployment. Every available person is out there looking for this suspect.
Well, you're advised to stay indoors. As this goes on, how far does that stretch within the Alpine Shire?
We'll be reconsidering our approach and our messaging by the hour.
What would you like to say to people who are drawing
similarities or conclusions? What would you like to say to people who are drawing similarities to that Queensland incident in 2022?
Early in the investigation at the moment, please keep an open mind, but the more information that comes to hand, the more we'll be able to piece this together.
Chief Commissioner, you're obviously in the local station up here. Have you spoken to any of the local officers and how are they holding up?
Only very briefly. We're obviously here, Wayne and I, to support the staff that are here. It's extremely traumatic. So while they are all affected by it, they're all extremely professional and focused on the job at hand.
You mentioned some of them are experienced police officers. Can you touch
Very.
or shed some light
Not at this point.
on their experience in the force?
Not at this point, but I'm sure we will.
Okay. What would you like to say to their families tonight?
That we're here for them. We are deeply, deeply sorry for this event. We will give them every support that we possibly can. And that extends to the officers' immediate families, but also the family of police.
Do you have a message for the person who killed these officers?
My message to that person is give yourself up so that the community can be at peace and we can have this matter resolved peacefully.
When are you looking to put out an image of the suspect?
Thank you for that question. Probably imminently. I understand there are already images in the public domain, but we'll put out our own message.
Are the officers from the northeast, this part of the world, generally speaking?
I'm not going to say anything at this point until we're at a position to tell you exactly who those officers are and give you their backgrounds.
Are you getting support from New South Wales?
In what term? In terms of
special
physical...
operations?
Yeah, they are briefed and on standby to assist. They've reached out, we've reached out to them.
Is that common?
Absolutely.
Have they already sent people here or they just...
They're on standby.
Have you had any communication from the public, any sightings, anything that has helped at this point?
We're getting a wealth of information that we're working through at the moment, but I can't give you any specifics on that. But, I encourage the public to continue to ring in, whether they're certain about things or not. Please, if you think it's going to be important or will help us find them, please contact us.
You mentioned earlier, hour by hour, this messaging will change. What is the best way for the people in this vicinity to be aware of the situation and the changing situation?
Yes, we've got really good comms people here who will put our messaging out from the command room upstairs to the communities. We'll put it out through radio, we'll put it out through television.
Are you confident still in the area? Anything to indicate he might have fled the area?
We have nothing to suggest he's fled the area, but we are keeping a very open mind.
Can you describe the sort of property he lives on? There's a report that he lived in a bus. Does it have vehicles on the property?
It was a semi-rural address with a house and an adjoining bus. That's all I can tell you at the moment.
And are there surrounding...
I don't believe so. I know where you're going with that question. I don't believe so. I believe it was an address occupied by himself, his partner and his children.
And are there not neighbouring properties?
I'm sure there are, but I'm just not sure about the vicinity of those other properties.
How many door knocks were carried out today?
I can't tell you.
Last questions, guys.
Just a horrible day for the force, isn't it, Mr. Bush?
Terrible day for the community, terrible day for the officers and their families, and Victoria Police are fully deployed to bring this matter to a peaceful conclusion. Thank you for your attention and help.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.